I don't know, you don't know, but without a plan, I also don't know what I'm going to move around. And I'm just operating like that 911 operator, just in total and utter chaos. And that is so frustrating and so anxiety ridden that I don't think that any of us want that. All right. So some of you might not think I'm a big like daily planner person. And by the way, I've had all of them. I've gone through all sorts. I've created my own. I've done all of it. And what I find is sometimes it works so well that you stop using it because you think you don't need it. But in insurance in particular, I do think we all need daily game plans. And, so many people think like it's an obstacle or, well, I don't know what's going to happen today. But a couple pockets here I'm going to talk about how you approach today is going to just blow your mind with efficiency. So we'll start with producers. Okay. I'm going to do producers, I'm going to do account managers, and then I'm going to do owners. Producers, if you don't plan your week, the week's going to take over and it's going to be ridiculous for you. So many, I don't have time to prospect. No, I don't want to prospect. You can make time. We just had a whole meeting with producers and we looked and they happen to be getting a lot of leads, but nobody was really following up effectively. Oh, I don't have time because, this and this and this. I'm like, all you're doing then is chasing, drinking from a fire hose and chasing whatever's coming at you. You're not being intentional to get out to the best opportunities. You're literally just taking whatever's coming at you. And this is what their sales will look like. It was a big old roller coaster because, they would prospect, get a bunch of quotes in, stop because they were B word busy, and then go on to the next thing. And then it was just like they were like just basically starving and then stuffed and starving and then stuffed. They said, if you just cut out a couple hours every week, even when you were going nuts to prospect, you would solve this problem and have a much more consistent scenario. And then, by the way, you wouldn't have to take some garbage leads to hit your pipeline. You would go ahead and be able to be a little bit more selective and choosy. So planning your week is critical. And it's so funny because when you have new producers or just producers start this process, like their week has all this Swiss cheese in it. And I'm like, that just means you're waiting for a problem. You're just sitting there and you're not getting out. There should be networking events. There should be proactivity. There should be renewals you're delivering. There should be, the times that you're going to go ahead and quote built in. Now it can shift, but it's that mindset and that intention. I do this every week, but I do my workouts, my meal plan. I even go through what I'm going to wear, which some people are going to be like, oh my God, she does that. But I want to minimize friction points. And I don't want to think too hard on Thursday morning when I'm tired of what should I wear? I look at my flights. I look at my next week's. I look at the team. I need to be prepared. And gosh, just spending 10 or 15 minutes preparing for things every day is huge. I reset my calendar every week. Every week I do it, but then every morning I get out a month. I look at my whole next month, clear out obstacles. Obstacle clearing is huge. So what you know in advance, you can prepare for advance. So producers should be doing that. And then they should have some time to reflect on the week and say, what did I hit? Did I prospect enough? Did I close enough? What were my wins? What were my lessons? And keep that process going. Just writing that down just makes a huge difference. And I don't care what you do. You could do it in a notebook. You can do it in a journal. You could do it in Evernote. You could create your own. Like sometimes I think we get too weirded out by that stuff. Sometimes you just have to do it and do it consistently. And the key for producers, I'm going to tell you, is you have to do it consistently. Don't do it here and there. Account managers. Now, I think for account managers in particular, you also need to plan your week. You need to look at your suspenses or activities for the week. You need to look at your renewals. You need to look at who's in, who's out that week. You need to just have a game plan in your head going in of when you need to hustle and when you can take your foot off the brake or the accelerator just a little bit. But in particular, I think it's really, really key that you do two things. One, I'm going to start kind of the night before. To end your day, you really should clean your desk, all your emails be attached, activities scanned. If our rule of thumb in our agency efficiency training is more than 3 activities you can't do, you raise your hand, let your manager know so that they can identify the best game plan for you. But you write down on a whiteboard or some agency management systems, you can move your activities to the top, make them critical, red. Hey, these are the 3 things that tomorrow morning I'm going to focus on. If I do these big 3, we call them the big 3, wins my day. And you start by doing the hard ones. That's the eat your frog mentality. Start by doing the hard ones so that way they're cleared out and out of your way and out of your day. You can do that every single day. You can scan your activities. You can know what you got to follow up on. And I always did the follow-ups last. I'd make them low because I have all this energy in the morning. I really don't around 3:30, 4 o'clock. but I could follow up very easily with people at that time. So I'd kind of shift my schedule and recalibrate my open items to kind of win my day. Now, every day's not perfect, right? But I could also do a little gut check around lunch, raise my hand. There's a wide variety of things we can do to help. So that's how you end your day. To start your day, it's kind of the same thing. Scan. Did anything new come in? Scan your email. I wouldn't get into them. I just, if you have to, if you're paranoid, you want to look, that's fine. But I dive into the first hard thing, your frog, and get it out of your way. You're going to feel productive. You're going to feel awesome. You're going to try to get through it because you know what? You don't really want to have to go ahead and do these other things that, you want to get into your email, basically, is what I'm saying. So that's a little bit on how account managers can plan their day. And then same thing at the end, recap your week. Look, what worked, what didn't work, where are we at? Those are huge, huge, huge opportunities. And you're just going to feel more in control by just spending a little bit of time preparing and coordinating your week. It's really huge. All right. The next one is leaders. So leaders always have this push pull of like, some management system stuff for clients, but there's no great, really great place to put certain things. I think the first thing leaders have to do is sit down every week and look, okay, maybe who's reviews, who's in, who's out, big client renewals, like have a checklist for yourself based on what you're doing that you need to be on the pulse of, right? Look at other people's days and activities. Who's going to struggle on this day? Leaders need to be proactive, not reactive. We need to be preventing fires, not being 911 operators. So that daily plan, having that checklist, I think is so key. And the next thing that we go to is, all right, what are the rocks that you're working on, your projects? So maybe that's a new sales process. Maybe that's calling me for efficiency training. You should totally do that. Maybe that's hiring. Like, where are we in these projects that are complicated that you need to maybe outline? Okay, these tasks need to happen this week to get this thing done. I want to encourage you to keep checking in on that. Now, Outlook's got a lot of great tools. You could use like an Evernote, a Trello. I mean, there's all these little tips and hacks out there. But honestly, I find so many people spend so much time getting something like that up and then they don't use it consistently when you just could use Outlook and it's kind of in front of your face versus another tool. But that's you. I mean, I've used them all. I have Evernote. We use our own CRM tool. So I do use tools, but I also have that mentality behind where if the tool's already working, I don't have to do a lot to get it set up. But you need to be thinking, okay, these are the things that we need to do. I need to check in on this carrier's goals. We hit contingency. Where are we at with this loss ratio? Your running list, you need to know in advance and then identify Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I do this every week. Look at my big projects. Maybe I have to write a blog, do someone's review. I have projects that we're trying to push forward here. And I break down and say, okay, here's what I'm doing. And I put time blocks in my calendar right then and there, which is just huge. I love my time blocks. I tend to be an early morning worker. So with those time blocks, like at 7 o'clock, I'm going to write my blog. I'll get it done 10 times faster. And like nobody's trying to find me at that point in time. I also reflect on my week every week. And then every day I look at it and I say, okay, here's what I have. Here's what I do at APP. We actually report 3 metrics every morning. How many emails are in your inbox, how many overdue activities you have, and how many you have today. Because now as a manager, I can go and be like, you got a problem. Same thing. Then we do our big 3. What's the 3 things we need to get done today? And at the end of the day, we goes out to everybody on chat. Did we win our day? And people say yes, no, maybe. Just gives you a cue in of what's happening. The reality of your situation needs to be that you need to be reflecting on your week. What worked, what didn't work? What do I need to focus on next week? In leaders' world, it's not always perfect. I know I tend to overschedule myself. I've gotten better at this, but I don't know, a couple days a week, I was overschedule and I'm moving some stuff around, or an emergency happens and only you can handle it. So that's another thing that definitely happens to leaders. But the idea is that everybody has a plan for the week and we overcome that mental obstacle of like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, guys, nobody does. I don't know. You don't know. But without a plan, I also don't know what I'm going to move around. And I'm just operating like that 911 operator, just in total and utter chaos. And that is so frustrating and so anxiety ridden that I don't think that any of us want that. So that's how you're going to use your daily planner, weekly, monthly, but spend some time on it. I just listened to more podcasts about this. I've read books about it, and it just clicks in my head so greatly that spending the time preparing means I don't have to spend time repairing. And I feel more empowered. Like I know what to expect. Like, I couldn't imagine going into every day and being like, what's up today? That's weird. Oh, that's weird. I might have to prepare for a sales call or talk to a client or check in on a team member because their metrics are coming back a little off. And we have a culture survey that goes out and it tells me if somebody's a little off. I might need to clear my schedule and reach out to that person and be like, hi, how you doing? And those are the things that are going to move my needle the most, and they will move yours as well. So don't shy away from having a daily plan. You might be shocked at what you come up with. And if it's hard at the first, that means it's working. Commit. Just tell yourself, hey, for this whole month, I'm going to commit to this for 30 days and see what I learn. Because all the time management books, podcasts, everything can't be wrong that having a game plan works. So if there's literal books that have been published, people out there that are swearing it's working, maybe we just need to get detox and get accustomed to it, and we're beginners and we don't see it. Do it for 30 days. I think you're going to thank yourself. And if your agency could use this, please call us. I love our agency efficiency program. I just think that, the cost of hiring someone new and training them when it could make your team more efficient, the cost of burnout, the cost of people leaving is too high. Train your team how to be efficient and effective, and everybody will be so much happier.